Joshua, and Louis. Our topic for today is about the increase in car prices to lessen the traffic. You may think that, what? There's a connection? Well, yes, there is. And the answers are to be exposed in our panel discussion. Before we start, let me take the opportunity to thank Melovich, the Miss CEO of Toyota, for being here with us today and giving us her time. So, panelists, do you have any say about our topic, or do you have any idea about what you can share to us?
Well, presently cars with high prices are being sold, and I think that there is really an advantage for that increasing traffic. As a CEO, we sold car and and we are planning to sold more cars and and produce more cars developed through the unification system. If you can develop the unification system, it can give you more direction in which way you can avoid traffic so that you can be stuck up there and be the one process. But of course, it must cost much money, so I think it I'll be on it because there are lots of advantages in there.
Thank you, Ms. CEO. Can we now proceed to Mr. Hans? He is a very well-known tax collector of...
Since it's a topic, we the tax collectors also talked about it. We suggested to go higher on the taxes of cars. If ever our plan will be achieved and the taxes of cars would go higher, and people would get the initiative to not or use their cars when they go somewhere. Instead, they just take jeepneys and commute. In that way, they would cause no more traffic.
Thank you for sharing your idea with us, Mr. Tax Collector. Now can we proceed to Dreyfus. He is an avid fan of cars, and he likes to buy cars.
Ano nga card? Tarak-tarak.
Hello? With all due respect to all of you, when I'm the only one here, I really disagree. It would be very unfair to citizens. We need cars to simplify and make our transportation easier. If it increases, people who are more likely prone to poverty will have a hard time. About all your suggestions and point of view, it doesn't matter if there are unimproved navigation systems because people will know where to pass to avoid traffic, and if you increase the taxes so cars will not be used always, then it will be useless to the people that bought it. Thank you for your speech, Mr. Baye. Now, can you proceed to the traffic enforcement?
Tunggu
Good afternoon. If that's your opinion, then we will gladly respect it. I am a traffic enforcer and it would be easy for me if we have lesser amount of traffic. So that it would be easy for me, and since traffic can cause several accidents, then it would be a disadvantage. So I think I will agree with Ms. CEO and Mr. Tax Collector.
Thank you, Mr. Traffic Enforcer. In my opinion, I think I would also have to agree with the topic because since traffic is very common these days, I think it would be better if we lessen the traffic, and I think it would be the best for the people so that they can avoid accidents and so that they can be more safe, they can be safer, and so that they can also avoid traffic using cars. So, to summarize the answers of our panelists, only Mr. Bayer disagreed to our topic because he doesn't like the idea that the CEO and the tax collectors should increase the price of the cars because since he is a buyer, it would be unfair to him and to all the other buyers out there. So we would like to give 1 minute to the audience who would like to ask any questions about our topic. Is there anyone who would like to ask? Or is there anyone who would like to give a question about our shared information? Yes, Ms. Candice, can we hear your opinion? What will happen if the price What will happen if the price goes up and many people will have a rally against the people who decide what the price will be? That is indeed a brilliant question. You are also agreeing to Mr. Dreyfus, but that is the problem of the company and the producers of the cars. So I think if a rally happens, then maybe that's the time that the company and the officials will think about the prices of the cars and consider the opinion of the people. Yes, Mr. Yuan, can I have may I know your question?
This is not a question, but it is an information. If the price of the car increases, and there are still other bills that you need to pay for your car. So for me, I agree with Mr. Dreyfus here that they need to lessen the car price because you have to pay gas, taxes of the car, in case it gets broken, you need to insurance, and a car won't last forever. That it needs to be expensive.
Thank you.
Wow. Thank you for sharing your opinion with us. And thank you for listening to our panel discussion. God bless.
Good afternoon, everyone. We are here to discuss our thoughts on being branded as millennials, also known as Generation Y or the Net Generation. Where the demographics cohort directly follow Generation X. Now we are very fortunate to have our panelists today. We have Sir Matthew Garceta, the CEO of Nike Corporation, Edwin Malandro, a researcher of One Company, and last but not the least, Ken Watakabe, the CEO of Marketing Corporation. Now Now, Edwin, how are your thoughts about being branded as millennials?
We surveyed people. We surveyed people for thoughts of being branded as millennials. And as the researcher of the corporation, I would like you to know the result of people that we surveyed for thoughts of being branded as millennials. But before that, let me introduce myself. I am Edwin Alandra, the head of researching faculty from Wharton Corporation. And now the result is the people search for popularity of brands, even though some branded products not as good as unbranded products.
Thank you for your thoughts. Now, Matthew, what are your thoughts about being branded as millennials?
CEO. Children community.
For me, as a CEO of Nike company, my reaction on the effect of branded on millennials is quite amusing for their parents. Because every time there's a new trending stuff, they're always into it. They force their parents to buy stuff for them, but we can't stop them if that's what makes them happy, as long as it's not amusing.
Thank you for your thoughts. Now, last but not the least, Sir Ken Watakabe, the CEO of Marketing Corporation.
As a CEO of marketing researcher, for me, millennials are people buying products such as food, water, or appliances. It is said that in the near future, the more population increase, the demand of products will increase.
Good afternoon, Ms. Hope, and to all students. Today's panel discussion is about banning Facebook in the Philippines. Let me introduce to you myself. I am Gilbert Escobia, your moderator, and these are my panelists for today. We have Mika, a psychologist. Vina, a government worker. CJ, an average teenager. JC, a parent, and Nicholas, a teacher from the University of St. Salle.
CJ.
So let's cut to the chase, shall we? So starting with you, Mika, what are your thoughts about this topic?
We as a psychologist, we all know that Facebook is used as form of communication. But sometimes millennials use Facebook as a diary. Facebook sometimes causes sickness to the user, like depression. And for me, banning Facebook is the best way to lessen this kind of cases.
Thank you, Mika. How about you, Vina?
Because dito rin sa Facebook.
Well, I think it's really appropriate thing to do, banning Facebook from the country. The problem faced in my working place is that workers often use their computers to do social media trends, especially in work hours. I've heard rumors saying people using Facebook always are morons. Because they're stuck in a computer all day, believing every word it says. This also led to the corruption in the government. Workers using Facebook got fired from their jobs. This continued until there is no worker left.
Wow.
Which will possibly lead to corruption. So, in order not to create problems in the government, it's important that Facebook should be banned. Thank you.
Thank you. How about you, CJ? Hello.
I think Facebook should not be banned in the Philippines because it has successfully connected people all over the world. As one of the most successful social media sites, Facebook has united long-lost families and friends, has enabled them to stay updated despite the distance among others. Facebook has also paved the way from new acquaintances and many business opportunities. Thank you.
Pinto.
Now, Nicholas, your opinion?
As a teacher, I agree the banning of Facebook. Based on my research, the students cannot concentrate the lessons, that they may lead to low scores in quizzes. And other students do Facebook first than to study first. And in my opinion, is the Department of Education must ban Facebook to students, those who are using it every day. Thank you for listening. Once again, I'm Nicholas Natural.
Lastly, JC, how about you?
In my opinion, I would like to ban Facebook because it causes addiction to the user and it
Yeah.
it allows the user to use it every day and using social media then studying. Thank you.
Thank you. I am glad to hear all of your opinions. Well, in my opinion, I'm in the minority. I disagree that Facebook should be banned as it contains significant resources for people seeking exposure. Business owners can quickly update key contacts, suppliers, investors, and high-value customers. It also gives huge benefits to marketing professionals and small business owners. There's even an article in Psychology Today. Members are able to quickly and efficiently exchange information they once held private. So, to sum things up, most of our members agree that Facebook should be banned, as people can get sucked into social media and not pay attention to their worldly surroundings. Well, for some, they disagree that Facebook should be banned. Like what I said, that they can help business owners in different companies. And also, it's not just about work. It's about, we can use Facebook in our daily lives, but we have to keep in touch of our surroundings. It's not just we always use our phones or computers just to log in every single day to go to Facebook. Yes, Mika, anything?
Toronto Huskies.
As a psychologist, I both disagree and agree because Facebook is a form of communication in which we
Wow! Wala kasi Chow.
we sometimes abuse it. We millennials use it the other way around. And it's not the fault of the Facebook, but it's the responsibility of the user to take care of his or her reputation in social media.
Good to hear your opinion, Mika. So, any questions? Yes, you.
What the hell is Facebook?
What?
What is Facebook?
CJ,
Hey, you want what's your question?
Social media.
Hey, you want
What's Facebook? Hey, Gilbert, this is
Facebook can help us in our environment.
CJ has an opinion on that. Thank you for listening to our discussion.
Answer my question.
Good evening, everybody. I am Antoinette Leanne Saras, your moderator of this panel discussion. Our topic is classes in the Philippines should start now. But before we gather their opinions, or before we proceed with the discussion, may I introduce to you our panelists for the day. This is Carl Basa. He is a teacher in science at the University of St. Salle. And this is Arthur Rafael Lopez. He is a weather forecaster. This is Ryan April Latana. He is a parent of a student that studies in USLS-IS. And lastly, Anne Joshua Posa is also a nerd. Okay, let's ask them or let's get their opinion about the topic. Let's start from Artan. Artan, what is your opinion about our topic that classes in the Philippines should start in August?
In my opinion, classes should start in August because summer is of course hot, but it is still manageable to go to classes because traditionally many or all universities offer summer classes or courses. Rainy season starts in June, and by shifting to the August opening, we are able to prevent not declaring so many no classes in June and July. I believe there are more benefits to this change than minuses.
Thank you for your opinion, Anton. Next, Ryan, give us your opinion about the topic.
Good afternoon. In my opinion, learning statistics will improve drastically. The facts are that kids and teens lose about a month worth of knowledge over the summer of this. So depending on when school ends, which is usually late June, for most students, they lose approximately a month's worth of information over the course of 2 months. Therefore, if school starts in the month of August, the students still have time to relax, enjoy themselves, and take a little break, while also reducing the learning loss by approximately 50%. By doing so, you or your child, depending on who you are, will increase grades in the classroom by over 100%. As the years of school add up, this will lead to a better and brighter future for generations to come. Thank you.
Thank you for your opinion, Ryan. Okay, Carl, what is your opinion to our topic?
My opinion is no, I don't agree because by moving the start of classes to August, students will need to go to the school during the hottest months. Schools in the Philippines start their classes at June and end in March. If we move the start of classes to August and the end of the classes will be on the end of May or early June. April and May are the hottest months in the Philippines and not all schools have AC units or electric fans.
Thank you for your opinion, Miguel Basa. Next, Ed Fossa, give us your opinion about the topic.
Good afternoon. In my opinion, I don't agree with the issue because summer is a time to relax and enjoy this school. They get miserable. Some parents really cannot plan vacation time soon. As they get out, they have to start planning for back to school.
Thank you for your opinions, panelists. To sum up their opinions, here it is. Art said that he is okay or he agreed with the issue because rainy season starts in June, and he said that if we move the start of classes in August, we are able to prevent declaring so many no classes. But Ryan also agreed. He said that if we move the opening of the classes in August, it will give more time to the students or kids to relax and enjoy their break. While Carl did not agree with the issue. because if we will start the classes in August, the end of class will be on the end of May or early June. He also said that April to May are the hottest months in the Philippines. His opinion is that he don't agree with the issue because summer is for fun time. Like what did Pastor said, if the opening of the classes will be on August, the end of the class will be at the end of the month of May or early June. It's my turn to give my opinion. Is it a yes or a no? Let's see. My opinion is that I think school should start earlier than August. My reasoning behind this is that throughout the 3 months of summer, students already forget an incredible amount of what they learned during the school year. Over the summer, they do not study, perhaps by some miracle a few do. However, the majority of kids don't. Therefore, they aren't prepared for the coming school year in the least. If summer was extended, it would be a disaster. If school started earlier, maybe after 1 month of the summer, the teachers of the previous year would still be relatively fresh in their minds. It would be better for their reputation. They might not like the idea of it, but they would come to be glad for that in the future. My opinion is no, I don't agree with the issue. My other opinion is that August is one of the hottest months of the year. Being trapped in a building with no air units while it's beautiful outside is a nightmare. It is obvious that Arden and Ryan agree with the topic, while me, Carl, and Al did not agree. Anyone who would like to ask questions or give their opinions?
Yes, my God.
Oh no! From the 6th
I have a question that may try that is related to this. What if school starts in the month of July?
Wow!
As Carmigel Bassa said, if we start the classes on July,
No.
the classes will end on April. April is the hottest month, or May. Summer is in April to okay. April and May are the hottest months in the Philippines. If we start June, the classes will end in the end of the March or thank you panelists for your time and cooperation. Good afternoon everyone. So today we are going to share our thoughts and our insights about our topic, banning junk foods here in school canteen here in the Philippines. I am Hirokin Sai, your panel moderator, and I have here a few guests from different organizations. So this is Bernard Jimenea, the coach of Sarah's Football Club. This is Nico Gironanga, the principal of USLS-IS. This is Carlo Araneta, a cafeteria owner, Daisy Yulo, a world-renowned and one of the finest chefs here in the Philippines, and Justin Vidasma, the batch governor of Grade 8. So now, let us first start our panel with Bernard's idea.
Hello, good afternoon. As a coach, it is my duty to be concerned of my team's health. I agree with the statement on banning of junk foods in the school canteens because it can cause harm, danger, and obesity. We need to create something better, not only for the people, kids, and teens of today, but also for our future generations. So I agree with the statement. Thank you.
So thank you, Sir Bernard, for your thoughts. And I also agree to that.
should have a healthy life for them to be fit and active in their games and to be present always in their practices. Now it's Sir Nico's time to share his thoughts.
Hello. Thank you, Jerome. As a principal, I strongly agree to ban junk foods on school cafeterias. Why? This is because I'm concerned for the health of the students. Because junk foods are unhealthy and could lead us into obesity. According to Debatable, Australia is the second fattest country because of junk food. It also says that if we continue to eat junk foods, we might die at earlier age. After hearing this, I was more concerned for the health of the students. This is why I strongly agree on banning junk foods on school cafeterias.
Thank you, Mr. Ginanga. I really agree about what you said a while ago because as the head of the school, we should always be concerned of our students' health because teachers are also the second parents of our kids. So now, let's have Mr. Daniel take us thoughts.
Thank you, Mr. As a chef, I agree with the saying no junk foods allowed in school because it can harm the students, and when the students are harmed, it's the school's fault because the school allowed junk food to be in school. Thank you, Jerome.
Thank you, Sir Daniel. I agree with you, in fact, that junk foods can cause health problems, and I really agree that some vendors has a fault too because they sell foods that are not healthy for the kids' health. So let us have Mr. Carlo Araneta.
Thank you, Jerome. I disagree to the idea of banning junk foods in school cafeterias because it doesn't help the students learn how to have self-discipline and self-control. It simply narrows down the options and it makes them too dependent to their peers, families, friends, that they won't know how to make choices for themselves in their daily life.
Thank you, Mr. Araneta. But kids need to eat healthy food so that obesity can be lessened and it cannot cause them health problems. So now, Mr. Justin Tedesco.
Like Carlo, I disagree with the banning of junk foods in school because some of the students will not be happy and they will think that teachers are taking away their freedom over the food.
Thank you, Sir Justin. And you kind of have a point over there, but that doesn't mean that they don't have any freedom over food. Kids could choose and make healthy meals using healthy ingredients. I also agree that junk food should be banned because not only it could cause health problems to kids, but it could cause obesity to them. And I agree also that junk food should be banned in school canteens because kids nowadays are mostly eating junk foods and does not know what fruits and vegetables bring to our body. Kids really need to eat healthy foods because a lot of kids nowadays lack a healthy and strong immune system. So to sum things up, most of us agree to our topic because we want our kids to be healthy and also make the best out of them. And we also want our kids to live a healthy life. So guys, we're giving you time to ask some questions about our topic.
Cut na, miss? Cut. Cut.
So no one wants to ask questions? So thank you everyone for listening to our panel discussion.
Good afternoon, classmates. I am CNN reporter Antonio Charles, as your
Take two.
Good.
Good afternoon, classmates. I am Salle Charles as your moderator, and we are here to discuss the issue on should President Duterte allow foreigners to invest business in the Philippines. For today, these are our panelists. House Speaker Representative Alvarez came all the way from Manila on last night, 8:30 p.m. Attorney Board of Investments Representative Marty and journalist Jewel Biati. Now, may we hear our panelists' opinion? May we hear their opinion
On this Board of Investments, Marty.
For me, I strongly disagree that foreign investments should not be allowed to the country because the FIA also provides that as a general rule, there are no restrictions on extent of foreign ownership. For an export enterprise or a service enterprise that exports more than 60% of its
Good afternoon, classmates. I am and reporter Tony Charles as your moderator, and we are here to discuss the issue on should President Duterte allow foreigners to invest in the Philippines. These are panelists for today. Panelist House Speaker Representative Alvarez, Attorney Neo, Board of Investments Marky Alejandrino, and journalist Jewel Biati. Now we may listen to the opinions of our panelists or the representatives. Marky.
For me, I strongly disagree because the FIA also provides that as a general rule, there are no restrictions on extent of foreign ownership for
export enterprise
or a service enterprise that exports 60% or more of its output.
entities engaged in sourcing operations may be covered under this expectation. The company must be registered with the Securities and Exchange Commission and the Board of Investments. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. May we have journalist Jewel for her opinion.
I agree because church change is coming on division moves to finally go forward in reforming the Philippines. Constitution can bring our investment up to par with or even more welcoming than those who are more long-term business like factories or tourism countries, not just all money investments.
Thank you. May we have your opinion, Leo?
I agree because according to my research, as a general rule, foreigners can invest as much as 100%.
Is there a problem in the crowd? We are becoming There is a problem. There is a problem.
It's off.
According to my research, as a general rule, foreigners can invest as much as 100% in domestic market enterprises, except in areas included in the negative list. This is provided in Republic Act 7042, also known as the Foreign Investment Act of 1991. The seventh regular foreign investment negative list was issued pursuant to FIA. It provides the foreign participation in a Philippine company shall be limited to 40%. If the paid-in equity capital is less than the equivalent of $200,000 US. Otherwise, the stated amount Filipino nationals needs not to pay the amount of 200,000 US dollars if his ownership does not exceed 40%. So a Philippine real estate company to pay his equity capital.
Thank you. May we have House Speaker Alvarez? Thank you. The real is President Duterte will allow foreign investors to invest here in the Philippines so that the Philippines will have a strong economy and will be well known to other countries. Thank you. Thank you for your opinions, panelist. And in my opinion, President Duterte has given a stern
Faster internet
service or foreign investors will be allowed to do the job. He said that on Sunday, May the 20th, that opening the country for the competition would bring down prices and improve services. This may also give us an advantage and also a disadvantage. Our advantage is that internet services will be faster and will be good at a high speed of rate. But there will be also a disadvantage because of the foreign investors will have to gain profit by 10% or above. So to sum this all up, most of us agree and some disagree, like Carl. Like as Neo said, that there would be also given a provision to the foreign investors. And Marvey also said that there is also no restriction, so that would be a disagreement. And to sum this all up, I too may have disagreed to it. Because if we give the foreign investors a chance to invest their business here, they would gain a lot of profit from us instead of the government gaining from them. And now we may give our time to the crowd to let them ask their questions to us. Is there anyone? No? Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. The panel discussion today will be about the possibility of using e-books instead of textbooks. I am your moderator today, Joseph, and these guests are our panelists, starting with Ian, a teacher, Matthew, a student, Reggie, a CEO of a certain e-book company, and Angel, a CEO of a textbook company. Before we talk about the question, I would like Ian to talk about what an e-book is.
Using e-books in school are being increasingly effective as a tool that doesn't just sit in the library, but is part of the practical learning process in the classroom. But first, let's define what is an e-book. An e-book is simply a book that can be read digitally on a computer screen or an electronic tablet.
Now that we know what an e-book is, I would like Reggie to talk about the advantages of an e-book.
The reason why we use e-books is due to its great advantage, one of which is the fact that e-books don't cause a physical strain to the body.
But there are also many disadvantages in using e-books, mainly to its price. There are many parents that are not rich, so they can afford to buy e-books.
I agree because it has many disadvantages, but even it has a lot of disadvantages, there are many advantages like faster learning.
According to our panelists, an e-book is an electronic book with many advantages. The possibility of using an ebook instead of textbooks is more or less around the 50% to 80% area. This is due to the fact that we are in an era of technology already. Is there anyone who would like to question about panel discussion?
Okay, Bian has a question.
You said about using e-books in school instead of textbooks, did you? Or no? If you're gonna use e-books in school, then how can you borrow an e-book from the library?
Simple, they don't use e-books.
Of course, the school will stock the library with ebooks.
Joseph.
As Angel said that poor families may not afford an e-book, what if e-books were only distributed for free and not per cost?
No, you.
That would mean that textbook companies would lose their purpose and
You're welcome.
thank you for listening to our panel discussion today.
Good afternoon, everyone. Today we are going to present to you a panel discussion.
Are you now complete? There are many
Liwat to liwat.
Good afternoon, everybody. Today we are going to present to you a panel discussion about the topic, the relevance and appropriateness of performance tasks. First, let you know, a performance task is a task to test the student's skills and knowledge of the whole quarter lessons. It's like an exam, but you need to do it. So, JJ, let me first introduce you to your panelists. This is Paulo, the CEO of Children Foundation. This is JJ, a parent. This is Yusha, a teacher. So, JJ, what is your opinion on this topic?
My opinion is that, first of all, performance tasks are like projects where students have to use the application of knowledge and skills. And it is often motivated and engaged by real-world challenges. My opinion of these performance tasks are they are good designs for project makings and all those things, but because the students have to apply what they learn through the quarter and in order to complete activity. It can also be heavily relatable because it engages in real-world challenges.
Thank you very much, JJ, for that interesting option. Next, here is Yusha. He is she is a grade school teacher from the University of St. Salle. Yusha, what is your opinion to this matter?
performance dance is appropriate for the students because it helps the students to prepare for the future. It also helps widen their knowledge and it opens up their mind.
Thank you very much, Yusha. And we know that you can really relate to those students because you know them better inside the classroom and how they make their presence. How about you, Paolo?
In the learning, people obtain content knowledge about the skills and develop habits. And practice the applications of all real-world situations.
Performance-based learning and assignment represent a set of strategies for the preparation and application of knowledge, skills, and work habits through the performance
Of tasks that are engaging the students practice determine the content of any grade school knowledge.
Thank you very much, Sir Paulo. And now for me, it's not bad to have performance tasks because I truly agree that this open minds and make students learn a lot. Though, which I am not with, is that the difficulty of the performance task is to be at least appropriate for that kind of grade. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm your moderator for today. My name is Amy Cordero. And this afternoon's panel discussion is about the remaking of Disney classic animations in their live version. Well, to start off this discussion, I would like to introduce our panelist for today. She acted out as one of our favorite Disney princess in the film Cinderella, Miss Beverly Marapo. Our next panelist directed the movie Finding Dory, Mr. Soy. He animated the movie Finding Dory together with his fellow animators and the movie's director, Mr. Jola Dator. Last but not the least, he is also an animator. Everyone, I am your moderator for today. My name is Amy Cordero. This afternoon's panel discussion is about the remaking of Disney classic animations into their live counterparts. Well, to start off this discussion, I would like to introduce our panelist for today. She acted out as one of our favorite Disney princesses in the film Cinderella, Miss Beverly Marapo. Our next panelist directed the movie Finding Dory, Mr. Kurt Hosmer. He animated the movie Finding Dory together with his fellow animators and the movie director, Mr. John Datar. And last but not the least, he is also an animator, one of the animators for the movie Frozen, Mr. Mark Rabbit. Now, before we actually begin, what are Disney classics? The B-Wog blog says, and I quote, Disney classics are the most annual feature-length animated releases made by the Walt Disney Animation Studios. End quote. Some of these classics that have been remade are Maleficent, Cinderella, Snow White, and Beauty and the Beast. So, I would like to ask our panelists a question. What is your opinion about the remaking, or what do you think about remaking of Disney classics into their live counterparts?
According to my research, classic Disney movies are full of traditional animation and full of the characters engraved. For me, of these Disney classics is just something you have to do to make these films better and more exciting to watch. I
I guess I like the remake more than the original.
Thank you, Mr. Kerr.
I think I agree with Mark. Remaking of this Disney classic is an optional modernization of the film and making it more interesting for the viewers to see or to watch. But for me, the originals are still the best.
That's nice. Joe, your turn.
I have to disagree with Mark and Kirk. Disney classics are being made into their life counterparts because Disney wants to bring them back to life for more viewers to love the films to look back into the original version.
What is your opinion, Ms. Febra?
Well, as what Jola has said, Disney remakes these classics to bring them back to life. Most of these classics were made decades ago. Some aren't remembered anymore, though. I have to agree that this new version of Disney classic make our jobs harder. It gets tiring when you always have to do a retake just to fit in with the animation. But these new classics are world class and I like them best.
Well, half of our panelists agreed, like the original, and half of our panelists like the new version best. And most of them think that remaking these classics is an action that will make these classics more interesting and more and to bring them back to life. For me, remaking of these classics is something you have to do to make them more, as what our panelists have said, make them more interesting and to also make viewers to look back into the original films and to think that these new versions are something that cannot compare to. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm your moderator for this day. I'm Kathleen Collins. We are here to discuss our own thoughts on being graduates. We are very fortunate to have this three cooperative finalists who are from the School of St. Salle. We have Martina Arceta, Mayor grade 7A, Edwin Halandra, Governor of grade 7 batch. Kat Madakabe, a transfer student from Japan. Now Edwin, what are your own thoughts about being branded as millennials?
Because millennials nowadays are also known as the dead generation. Because we are a type of people who is engaged in social media, like what the author said in 1991 book Consisting individual, we also call it millennials because we usually consider to apply individuals who reach adulthood around the turn of the 21st century.
Thank you, grade 7 Governor. Now, can we please ask Mayor grade 7D about his opinions and thoughts about being branded as millennials?
For me, millennials are the people born in the early 21st century until now. They are the people or millennials, as we call it. They are the people 21st century learners. They are also the group of people who are good in technology. They are also active in social media. They are also the group of people who learn in their own way. We also call ourselves millennials because we are born in the 21st century. Thank you.
I have to agree with Edwin and Matthew. My thoughts on the topic is that millennials are considered to apply to individuals. Mel and William were the authors of the 1991 book generation. However, the history of American culture was in 1584 to 2069. They were often credited with coining the term. Thank you.
Now my thoughts about being branded as millennials. I have to agree with everyone here today because we are the 21st century people who talk about technology can help the people from the past to be modernized, and mostly teenagers like us are mostly engaged in social media and very active around major sites. Now, can we please get a question from the people who are watching us today about your thoughts about being branded as millennials? I really appreciate this. Thank you. And
Alright, who are they? Generation X, Generation Y, Generation Z, baby boomers, youth of the day, era of technology, but ultimately millennial. Since 2010, the word millennials are used in many wrong ways, wrong notions, wrong accusations. People consider the youth of the day as millennials because of their career plans, attitude, taste for music or movies, and so much more. But then again, since 2010, people have been wrong. And in today's panel discussion, we tackle the statement, teenagers are labeled as millennials. For this, we have 5 different people who are involved in this controversy. I am Hannah Estrella, your moderator for today. Our topic revolves around teenagers being labeled as millennial. This topic has many sides and controversy for the past years. Good afternoon, I am Sofia Galzate and I am a parent. And my child has been part of these wrong accusations about millennials.
I am Jude Galvez and I am part of Generation Y. I am an example of a true millennial based on definition and technical meaning.
I'm Carla Tating and I am part of Generation Z. And in my opinion, this controversy isn't a problem but a human mistake.
I'm Lou Cuesta and I'm also part of Generation Z, but I disagree with Carla Tating because my stand on this topic is that people should stop the labeling because this can affect the future of the youth.
Good afternoon, I am Xavier Picture. I am a sociologist. Teenagers nowadays have been dubbed the millennial generation, or simply millennials. But you are wrong, because according to sociology, the term millennials refers to Generation Y.
Now let me begin with a talk. Who is the true millennial amidst all the stereotypes?
In my own opinion, as a true millennial, for example, people think of the youth today as kids who are prone to drug, technical and sexual addiction. But in reality, it all sums up to the parents on how they raise the children.
I agree to Jude Galvez's statement, since my child has been influenced by lots of technologies, and of course his friends and his classmates, about these videos, specifically sexual videos, and they're starting to ask me on what are these and are tempted to watch them.
Figuratively and generally speaking, millennials are people who strive hard, who face reality and not live in utopian fantasy where dreams do come true. They don't do that show. Instead, true millennials are people who go beyond dreams. They face reality. Reality in a sense that they are able to still build an empire and aim for themselves while overcoming the obstacles and challenges by the global arena.
It seems that you have different opinions. Now, we may have Mr. Picture on what really a millennial is.
According to the article of Douglas Lee, the term millennials generally refers to the generation of people born between the early 1980s and the early 2000s. The millennial generation is also known as the generation because it comes after Generation X. Most people between the early 1960s and the 1980s.
The second question is, if people continue to brand teenagers as millennials, do Do you think their attitude towards certain things change, like their career plans, their family orientation? If we continue to label them as people who jump from job to job, or people who are just glued on their screen, what do you think the future of the kids look like?
I think this will not affect their attitude, since if one truly believes in his or herself, then why bother believe others? It's a matter of believing yourself in what you can do and not self-labeling conservative. I mean, it's just a label.
I strongly disagree with Ferlatating's opinion because for me, if people continue to brand them as millennials, I truly think this will affect their attitude because that's what stereotypes do. They make us believe what is either true or false. So if people continue to label them as nothing useful, then in the future these kids will surely be a chaotic mess of depressed teenagers living in old apartments, sad in their life.
For me, branding millennials is good and not that bad because it doesn't affect me and other millennials anyways.
I think this can affect them since if people continue to describe them as those who are just lazy and are dependent on new technologies or other wrong accusations, then this might end up with millennials today are going to believe them and think that they are just like that, those lazy people and start to depend on technologies.
How do you think the Generation Z will react to this accusation? Will the wrong accusations still continue then? If it will continue, then how can we fix this?
Generations will come after this situation will surely think how unjust and cruel the world was before them, setting up labels and boxes in society, making sure everyone fits in. But if to stop this problem, then people who will come after us will surely not be disgusted of their history. The accusations will continue if humans will not stop. I mean, teenagers of today with a lot of potential. They strive beyond the American dream. They work to be fulfilled. They don't settle for a mediocre life. So why is that wrong? Is that being narcissistic? I think, and I quote from University of Notre Dame psychologist Daniel Lastly, I think of narcissism as an adaptive thing that teenagers use to work on self-image and identity. This just means that teenagers are not narcissistic. They're coping up with the demands of the global communities. They reach beyond expectations.
Our fourth question for this panel discussion is, why did people consider Generation Z as the millennials instead of true millennials, the Generation Y? What do you think were the positive and negative outcomes of this?
For me, people consider Generation Z instead of Generation Y because it's like crowd mentality. Yes, even though I mostly stand on the ground of just simply showing this, it still pains me of the outcomes. The controversial Time magazine issue, the Me generations, that shows how others can pull others down. Millennials should be also treated as humans. I think that the Generation Z is considered as a true millennial instead of the Generation Y. It's because of their talents and capabilities, who know a lot and discovered a lot today, and will be able to help us in the future.
They consider Generation Z as millennials instead of Generation Y because according to them, teenagers which they call millennials are lazy and prone to jump from one job to job, which is the negative side of millennials. But on the other hand, millennials are also described in positive ways. They are open-minded, they support equal rights, and many more.
I think people consider Generation Z as the millennials instead of the true millennials, which is Generation Y, because people, as again, tend to be more stereotypical than ever before. The word millennial is considered to be a label for people who are living in an era of technology. And just like a chain reaction, people believe that and the true technicality of the word is lost. The negative outcome of this is that false myths surrounding teenagers of today. But then again, at the same time, teenagers learn how to be more than what they are right now. They innovate, they create, they are people once more than once said before them.
The final question for this panel discussion is, do you think this whole situation should be considered as a problem that will involve many people to fix it? Or we can simply shrug it off and say it's just innocent?
I think we could shrug this off because this will make a great confusion if we try to spread this petty problem. And also because this is just a tiny mistake which we can solve by ourselves.
This is not a problem because it is just a misunderstanding. They just keep on doing wrong accusations and we see on what
problem since if they're labeled millennials, then they are. It will not change anything at all. They are just labeled as millennials, but their attitude still remains the same. In my opinion, this whole situation is a problem that needs many people involved. It shouldn't be a problem in the first place, because for me, it's just a label. We could either ignore this and just be yourselves, or be so sensitive about it and start World War III.
Among all four of them, I think they all say that they will simply shrug this off. But for me, standing on my opinion, this can never be a mistake. I think this should be considered as a historical crime against the youth. As said by Albert Einstein, everybody's a genius, but if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will live its whole life believing that it's stupid. And that is the whole backbone of the situation. We can never really say in the end who's the true millennial because we're all different. We can climb more than trees and mountains, reach dreams, but at the same time we stumble upon them. So I guess, yes, this is a worldwide problem. Teenagers will continue to believe that they're self-centered, job hoppers, narcissistic and useless if we continue to label them that. What if we all stop the labels, the brands, and we treat each other with care and see them as unique as we see ourselves?
We conclude that the millennial should be considered as a technical meaning, but we should also consider the youth of today, not labeling them as bad things. For the audience, do you have any questions? Then we can now say thank you for the panelists and thank you for listening.
Now, good afternoon, everyone. Here with me are the panelists for today. Our first panelist is Ashley Machado, a first-year college student who studies Math and Communication Arts at the University of Salle Integrated School. It is consistently in the top 3 of her batch since she was in junior high. Our second panelist is Ms. Ana Puyo, an English teacher in the Catalina Academy for 6 years who is also a mother of 3. Our third panelist is Mrs. Denise Versosa, the owner of Bench who sells clothes and perfumes for both men and women online and in her shops. Last but definitely not the least, our fourth panelist is the chairman and the chief executive officer of Facebook. Let's welcome Mr. Mark Zuckerberg. I'm Jasmine Mahilom, and I will be the moderator for today's panel discussion, which will focus on the banning of Facebook in the Philippines. Facebook has become an intricate part of everyone's daily lives. It is used by people from ages 9 to 50 years old as a platform of socializing. Let us listen to the panelists' reaction on the topic.
Surveys say that 96% of college students, including me, uses Facebook. Facebook has changed social relationships and has provided an opportunity for individuals to share their ideas and opinions. As a mass comm student, I don't agree with the banning of Facebook since it is a source of news, considering that more and more people turn to Facebook to keep updated on the current news. Additionally, I think that it is either not possible or difficult to put a ban on Facebook. Instead, it is better if we teach children on how to use Facebook in a good way rather than cyberbullying, texting, or even showing off their lifestyle. Lastly, parents and teachers should raise awareness and should be able to supervise the child's account.
Banning of Facebook can affect users, especially teens, who are considered as the greatest users. Teens use it as a way of communication and socializing with others, but it can be distraction for students. So as a mother and a teacher, it can be an advantage and disadvantage to ban Facebook.
Based on my research, there are billions of Facebook users in Philippines. Facebook was not to create a brand for all individuals and businesses. So as a businesswoman, I disagree to the statement that Facebook should be banned because it can really affect me and my job. Additionally, Facebook can have increased my possibilities of making money.
Facebook is an online social media and social networking service. Banning of Facebook will greatly affect me as the founder of the site since I will lose my job. The Facebook website was launched on February 2004 and up to this day is still ongoing. As of April 2016, Facebook was the most popular social networking site in the world, based on the number of active user accounts. I disagree on this statement since Facebook's main reason
is to help people communicate with their beloved ones far away. If this will be gone, people will lose communication as well.
Thank you for sharing your insights and reactions. The first question is, what is Facebook for you in your daily life?
For me, Facebook is a way to connect and to be updated with my friends, family, and even my relatives. In my daily life, Facebook is a major source of communication with my family, friends, and even customers. Because Facebook is a global site in various parts of the world, therefore, location will never be a barrier.
For me, Facebook is like a bridge between two people for them to communicate. It is also a source of happiness.
Facebook is a site of communication to other people who cannot go to other places. So through the Facebook website, we could talk to other people as well.
Indeed, it is a way of communicating because I myself am a Facebook user and I use it. If ever Facebook will be banned, what do you think would change in your life?
If Facebook will be banned, I will find a new way to communicate with other people through the other sites, like Yahoo and Skype. Also, life will be a bit challenging for me, since I need to send my important files to my co-founders as well.
I agree with Mr. Zuckerberg that if Facebook will be banned, then it can really affect us. As a businesswoman, it will really be difficult for me to update about my business. However, Mr. Zuckerberg, I think, don't you think you can still continue your businesses with other, you can still continue your career in other businesses?
Yes, I can still continue my other businesses through other social networking sites.
Well, I agree because without Facebook, it would be difficult for us to do some of our daily tasks like business. But who do you think would be greatly affected and why?
If Facebook will be banned, then those businessmen and women will be affected because it will be hard for us to find new leads or clients. Students will also be affected because they will have a hard time on how to communicate with their friends and families. In addition to Ms. Denise's answers, I think that students can be also affected because we students use Facebook and other social media to communicate with our friends in planning our meetings and group works.
Is the banning of Facebook an advantage or a disadvantage? Why?
For me, banning of Facebook can be an advantage and disadvantage as a parent and as a teacher. If a teen can control his or her addiction to Facebook, it's an advantage to ban Facebook because Facebook can be a distraction to them.
Banning of Facebook is a disadvantage. Come to think of it, if we could only handle Facebook as a friendly site, then it doesn't need to be removed after all. Taking care of one's account on the site will greatly help a person who is susceptible to police, which cyberbullies are now cyberbullying is already a new event that is happening on Facebook. Facebook also has features where you can block other strangers which they think are bullies. I think there's no problem at all.
The banning of Facebook is a disadvantage for us students too. Like I said, Facebook is a way for us to be updated on current news and also encourages us students to share their thoughts and opinions.
Thank you, panelists. Thank you, panelists, for active participation in this panel discussion, and I truly appreciate your opinions. To sum it all up, majority of Facebook users disagree to the banning of Facebook because it serves everyone in many different ways, such as business, education, and updating. Without this, it would greatly affect the lives of the users. Thank you, everyone, for listening to our discussion. Once again, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, everyone. Today we are having a panel discussion. Our panelists today would be Ms. Lara Gerdon, the representative of Amazon Kindle Company, Mr. Varela, a graduate from the Salle Hills, Mr. Alfredo Salvador, LaSalle Bacolod teacher, and Mr. Ansel Julian, a representative from Aviva Publishing Company. As the youth today are submerged in a realm of modernized gadgets, they are exposed to different results of technology, of which they use for their daily life. E-books, for one, can be listed as one of the gadgets that many young adults put into use, as it could help them in their education and in their entertainment. Today we're going to talk about the possibility of using e-books in school rather than textbooks. Do you agree that schools should use e-books instead of textbooks? Good afternoon. First of all, I would like to clarify the notion that using of e-books will strain the eyes of the reader. Because with the Amazon Kindle app and the Amazon Kindle, you will be able to read according to your own preference, such as adjusting the screen brightness, the font size, and the background of the page. That way, you'll be able to read according to your own preference, something which is lacking in regular textbooks. Going back to the main topic, yes, I strongly agree that schools should allow students to use e-books rather than textbooks. Because for one, it is portable and saves you time, money, and space. It also accommodates new learning styles for students. Furthermore, Daryl Sassons once has said, it is the key for a generation of students that speaks the language of YouTube and Netflix. Thank you.
Hello, good afternoon. In addition to Ms. Garzon's answer, I, being a graduate of LaSalle Green Hills, a school that uses e-books, strongly agree that e-books should be used in schools such as University of LaSalle because e-books are an easier way to navigate through the many topics that each individual book has. Unlike having individual textbooks which carry weight, an e-book can lessen the pain on someone's back and can also be transported easily, and it's really easy to get off.
For me personally, as a 50-year-old teacher who's heard of these e-books in the recent years, for me I think that, well, yes, it may be easier to carry, it may be more lightweight than usual books. I have to say that I disagree. Why? Because one, your e-books can easily be hacked. Because, well, since it uses computers, it can easily get hacked. And at the same time, the price is insane. $250 for one, an e-book reader.
Well, in contrast to your statement, Mr. Salvador, people care for e-books more than they care for individual books because of their price, thus giving them more sense of responsibility to take care of such expensive things. But all e-books are compatible.
For the panelists to agree, will the sufficiency of e-books help the students and how? The sufficiency of e-books will help students. As what I have said earlier, it accommodates new learning techniques for the students. That way they will be able to grow in their knowledge in a new, unique type of way. Thank you. For the panelists who disagree, what is your opinion regarding the prices of the e-books?
For me, it's just a bit too much for me. I mean, yes, it may cost less in the long run, but if you think about it, do you really think all schools right now use e-books? And while there are many, most of them are the most expensive ones. So how do you think that people who get scholarships are going to be able to afford them in the first place?
For me, I disagree to e-books because my company will go bankrupt and many people will be jobless. These people will have families.
Mr. Gillian, don't you know, according to e-publishers weekly, 30 million trees are cut down every year to publish books in USA. Not only is e-book eco-friendly, but it will also help students learn in
response?
Going back to the topic, what impact would this make in the society of our generation today?
In today's generation, this will highly impact because in these days, many people use technology for many things, like substituting writing letters for just texting people, and using e-books will toward the youth. This will greatly affect them as it will help them better compensate for when they are older and when technology will probably get more advanced than it is these days.
For the past do you really think that e-books are more efficient than textbooks?
Yes.
In the near future, do you think that instead of textbooks, e-books would be used?
Yes.
Do you think that textbooks are more important than e-books? Maybe.
No.
Will the usage of textbooks be more helpful to the students?
Maybe.
Absolutely yes.
Possible.
It's the Ms. Garzon and Mr. Mariana agreed that e-books should be used because of the easy access and because it is portable and it accommodates new learning styles. However, Mr. Salvador and Mr. Guillen disagreed to the given topic because it can easily be hacked or for the words, for the lack of security and because of the price. Thank you for having us here.
Today's topic is should the Duterte ban foreign investment? Today's panelists are businessman and owner of the Baga Vehicles, Isaiah Makmaki.
Take two.
Hello and good afternoon. I am Kirsten Cisnero and I will be your moderator for today. Today's topic is should the Duterte ban foreign investment? Today's panelists are businessman and owner of the Baga Vehicles, Alexia Gabon.
Good afternoon, audience. I am Alexia Gabon, the owner of Baga Vehicles. Let's just say I used to be a struggling businessman, but thanks to foreign investment and expanded international trade, the company has grown greatly.
Political blogger and Vidovero.
Good afternoon. You may know me from my blog, which I mostly talk about the topics like foreign investment, and I'm here to tell you that it destroys the livelihood of the citizens of our country. They take away jobs, exploit workers, and are environmental and unfriendly.
Entrepreneur and baker, Nicole Vargas.
Good afternoon, I'm Madame Helga. Maybe you've seen me from the advertisements of my bakery, Madame Helga's Delights. Here's some advice. If you want to start your own business, foreign investments can either help you or destroy your brand. Please choose a party.
And foreign ambassador, Francis Ampil.
Hey kids, I am Francis, ambassador for the company. I'm here to make it clear. Foreign investment may seem a bit calculated to manufacture, but if you do it right, then your business can grow and you can create new job opportunities.
Now that everyone has been introduced, let us begin our discussion. For our first question for Alexi, as a citizen of the Philippines, how does foreign investment affect your livelihood?
When I was just beginning my business, I was struggling. I had no idea what I could do. But thanks to a foreign company who invested in me, I was able to advance my company, and now I'm able to feed my family.
What are your thoughts on these, Ms. Nicole?
Actually, because of foreign investment, I got scammed and it almost destroyed my baking career. Some foreign company took advantage of my business and exploited me for my money.
Our second question is, was Duterte cutting ties to the U.S. or his dual choice? Mr.
Duterte cutting ties with the U.S., in my opinion, is a bad choice. The world we live in is a borderless world, and for us, And for Duterte to cut his tie with the US is just wrong. We need connection to succeed and to advance our careers. Which is why he should have cut it.
What about you, Ms. Nicole?
Somewhat, I think that some foreign companies are capable of helping smaller businesses and expanding them, like Mr. McProfit's company. But these bigger companies can also receive bigger amounts of money. And they're just smaller companies to their advantage.
No foreign trade means abruptly stop the influx of exported products, produce, and things that greatly affect the behavior of people today. How will this affect them? And do you think that Duterte should continue doing this, Mr. Alexi?
As a car dealership owner, my products get sold abroad. If we were to stop it, then I feel that people who sell products abroad are stripped of their jobs.
What about you, Mr. Francis?
Well, similar to Mr. Gami's answer, I invest in a company who sells products abroad. And sometimes the countries in which we invest in, they need those products to make their lives easier, like iPhones and MacBooks and stuff.
It is under speculation that Duterte is trying to cut ties to the US because he wants to expand our country's horizons. Start looking for newer and possibly beneficial trade partners. Do you agree with this choice, or do you think will be successful, Mrs. Nicole?
Like my previous answer, I have mixed feelings about it. Big companies from America may help you, but at the same time, they may also hurt you by exploiting you.
What about you, Mr. Resby?
I think we should, and I repeat, we should cut ties to the US for to promote local and domestic products and stores, aka Obama vehicles, Helga's Delight, and the right man to do it is no other than Duterte, our president.
Now that we've discussed Duterte, the Philippine citizens, and their response to foreign investment, let us talk about the foreign investment therapy. What are the benefits and disadvantages of foreign investment? Francis, let's start with you.
Well, as a foreign ambassador for the company, I have seen the benefits of foreign investment up close and personal. Foreign investment can create new job opportunities in the invested company. As investors start new businesses, it can turn into increase in income, more buying power among the people, and eventually economic boost.
Mr. Renly, how about you? Do you have any feelings on this?
I have some negative feelings because I disagree. As a modern youth, I feel like every human should have equal opportunities. And foreign investment hinders domestic investment. As this type of investment focuses its resources elsewhere other than your own country, it will sometimes hinder domestic investment.
Well, I disagree. This type of investment can stimulate development in the investing company, providing benefits for the local industry.
Well, I disagree with your disagreement. Though they think we benefit in years, the investing companies, they employ local people to the companies because their wages are underpriced relative to your productivity.
Well, I disagree with your disagreement to my disagreement. They employ local people because of reduced overall cost, which means increased profitability.
Increased profitability? Based on your arguments, it seems like all you and your company seem to think about is money.
Gas.
At this point, we will be allowing the audience to ask questions.
Anyone?
Because the audience has failed to ask questions, we will continue on with our panel discussion. To sum things up with one final question, should Duterte ban foreign investment in our country? Mr. Alexi.
He shouldn't. Because struggling businesses need help from bigger entities, and foreign investment can do that job.
Well, I agree with Mr. Alexi. I think foreign investment can help improve the economy of the invested country. And I think we can help advance the nation.
I think he should. It destroys the livelihood of our citizens.
Duterte should ban foreign investment in our country because again, it almost destroyed my baking career and some of them took advantage of my business.
To sum things up, foreign investment has both benefits, like increase of domestic economy and the creation of jobs and opportunities, and disadvantages like exploiting of employees and underpaying them. And that concludes our panel discussion for today. Thank you for your active participation, panelists. As a token of our gratitude, please take this. Two phones. And since we don't have enough budget for 2 more phones, please take this dollhouse. Excuse me, dollhouse.